Ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Cleveland, Ohio, I give you BVO.
Oh, we boxing? Yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weaving and blocking. Defeat ain't an option. Let them know, shoot a video, put it on BVO. Let them know, every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO, bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone. Let them know, I ain't getting body, but I'ma hit this flow. Yeah, way more than a show, this is BVO.
On behalf of BVO Sports TV, we would like to thank our sponsor, Raycon, makers of the Raycon Everyday Earbuds, the perfect model for premium sound with active noise cancellation to block out distractions and transparency mode to keep you aware of your surroundings. They are the ideal for your everyday needs. Just visit RayconGlobal.com. That's RayconGlobal.com and elevate your listening experience.
Shout out to BVO Boxing. You understand? Check the boy out. Check the kid out. You understand?
This is a sick Negro.
Well, what's going on? The boy BVO Sports TV. For one of my favorite Puerto Ricans, man. What's going on, DC? I don't know if DC can hear me. Can you hear me? Hold on. I don't know if my brother can hear me. Yeah. Can y'all hear me? I don't know if y'all can hear me. If y'all can hear me, put one in the chat. I don't know if y'all can hear me. But I'll start going. So we seen a really good fight this weekend. We seen Cruz get absolutely robbed. I thought it was a good card, not the best card, but a pretty good card. I'll just say this, man. Lamont Roach, he's just not that guy, and it's okay. I think from the tank fight, he did really well against a notable guy, a notable name. But at the end of the day, man, Cruz, beat the cornbread and beat the cornbread and the greens out of him, man. It wasn't even a fight. But I think he got filled more by coaching than I would say him himself. I mean, Lamont Sr, man, gave us some horrible coaching. I don't know, man. He really needed to get somebody help him in the corner because that was garbage. What's going on? How your brother doing? Yeah,
What's good?
What's going on? All right, so I basically started off talking about Lamont Roach, and I just thought his father did a terrible job. I wish he would have bought Barry Hunter or somebody because I just felt like Lamont Sr. was just totally out coached. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with guys being not open to getting help in the corner, but he just let all of DC down with that performance, man. He really let everybody down. This is my brother Chris watching boxing. Thank everybody watching, man. We got 19 people in the house, man. Smash the like button for your boy BVO, man. Appreciate you guys. Smash that like button. What you think about that, brother Bernardo? What do you guys think about that? I thought Senior was horrible. Lamont Sr. was horrible. What do you guys think?
I wouldn't say he looked horrible. Yeah, I wouldn't say he looked horrible. I just think.
No, I think coaching. His coaching is horrible.
Who? Oh, Fulton.
No. I was saying Coach Lamont Sr. His coaching was horrible.
I wouldn't say he looked horrible. That's fighting that Lamont Roach fight. You gotta understand Lamont Roach is a counter puncher. I mean, in order to beat a guy like Pitbull Cruz, you gotta outbox him. You can't fight his style. He's gonna make it look difficult because he's a come forward brawler. He's gonna make it a difficult fight. And Lamont Roach is more he's like a Shakur Stevenson. He's more of a counter puncher. He uses his jab. He'll put combinations together at times. But he's setting up a counter shot. And with Pitbull Cruz, the one that comes forward and throws a lot of shots, whether they land on the spot that he's looking to land it or not, he's gonna throw a lot of shots and he's gonna his style of fighting. I mean, we saw it with Tank Davis. Tank Davis moved around and boxed Pitbull Cruz. We saw it with El Rayo. He moved around and boxed Pitbull Cruz. The ones that stands in front of him, like Rolly Romero, they didn't have a lot of success. So it just that style of fight. I don't think it's anything they did wrong. I think it's just Pitbull Cruz is a difficult style to fight.
Go ahead, Coach. What you got on it?
No, I think that if I have two examples of what frustrated Pitbull Cruz, I think I may have went with the game plan of the two examples that frustrated him. I think the first 6 rounds, uh they came out and I think it just came out and set a tone where it was going to be a war type fight. But then round 7 through 12, I think it was primarily the boxing. Now, if he would have did that a little earlier, I think he would have been able to get the decision. I definitely think if he would have did that for the whole fight, he would have been able to get the decision. But I think it just got too late of a start. You were basically fighting in Pitbull's backyard. Not that that swayed anything on the cards. I don't think they got it wrong. But I think he just started boxing too late. I think they wanted to come out and establish a sort of dominance, like hey, I can stand here and I can trade with you, but that's a Pitbull thing. Lamont's a very intelligent boxer and, like I said, counterpuncher. I just don't think that was the course of intelligent boxing to fight that much fight like that, because it played too much into Pitbull Cruz's hands.
You know, I gotta remember. My bad. I gotta remember that Coach Bernard is from DC, so he's a homer. So forgot. So shout out to Coach. But I just think if you look at the fight, I've never really seen Lamont fight like that. I've never seen Lamont pressing the action, trying to bang with somebody. I don't know, man. I think Lamont's better than that, but I just think what we're getting a lot in boxing is a crisis in leadership. I think the guys that are in these corners, man, are not. They don't qualify. They don't qualify to be in that corner. And not speaking on Lamont Roach Jr., I'm just saying in general. I feel like the reason boxing is not where it once was is we don't have the same quality of trainers that we once had. We got nothing but physical trainers, guys who get you ready to, play basketball or run more than they get you ready for the 3 science. I don't know what you guys think about that.
No, I think you're wrong. I think he definitely got um, decent trainers. Are they top level? I mean, that's a person's opinion, but he definitely got decent trainers. His trainers got him all the way to where he's at. So you can't say he don't have good trainers because Lamont Roach. I mean, and you said you never seen Lamont Roach fight that style of fighting like that. I mean, he just fought Tank Davis the same way. He's still right there in the pocket with Tank Davis. I mean that. I mean, even if you go back and look at the Jamel Hearn, you look at the Hector Garcia, that's his style of fighting. Um, but as far as his trainers, I think his trainers is decent trainers. It's just Pitbull Cruz is not an easy fight. It's not an easy fight. Now, if that was somebody else, Lamont Roach probably won that fight easy. But it was Pitbull Cruz, somebody who's a difficult style fighter. So it's going to be difficult. No matter who gets in a ring with him, it's going to be a difficult style. If you look at El Rayo had to change his game plan. El Rayo never fought like that. You look what El Rayo did with Pitbull, and you look what El Rayo did with Antoine. It's 2 different styles that El Rayo fought. So, I mean, Pitbull Cruz is just a difficult fight.
I would say that if Shakur Sanchez was to get in that ring with him, he would beat Pitbull dead. If you put Gary Antoine in there with Pitbull Cruz, he would beat him to death. I'm not going to go for Esau Cruz being this good fighter or this great fighter. He got smoked by El Rayo. He's not what they say. It's some guys that know will beat the life out of him at 140 pounds. So I mean, it just shows me, and Casey Lamont coming up, it just shows me that sometimes in this game of boxing, man, guys just don't have the proper tools around them to win those fights. And I just felt like I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong. I just felt like Lamont didn't have the tools in the corner to win that fight. I just don't think so. What would you say, Coach?
I don't say he had the tools to get there because he's a world champion. One thing you have to say is styles make fights. Because that style was able to work with Tank, who's not a volume puncher.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for suit to fight Pitbull, who is a hard volume puncher. Pitbull to me understands who he is a lot better than a lot of other fighters. He knows what he can do. He knows what he can't do. If you've seen one Pitbull fight, you've seen every fight. It's just, to me, he has, no, I'm not saying it in a bad way. It's to me what makes Pitbull Cruz a great fighter. He plays within himself and he doesn't second guess what he is or who he is. When you see these guys saying, I can do 10 different things, but what's the thing you do good? I think Lamont's a great boxer. But I think sometimes when you have one performance that does one level, you kind of think I can get away from what I am or who I am. And sometimes you can get so far away from it that you can't get back to it in the next round or 2 rounds later. I give him credit for, I think, realizing within himself that this ain't working. And then when he started to box, I think in the 7th round, his dad was still telling him, man, walk him down, stay in the pocket. But then Shorty got to the point where he started boxing more. And for like 4 rounds, I think he hands down won every single round. But then he went back on the inside and gave Pitbull Cruz the only chance he had of doing what he did.
See, so this is my, I don't watch all the great trainers that they are. Eddie Fuss, Customato, Gary Sr. People always get on me about that, but I will attest, not just because I'm a fan of Gary Russell Jr., but Gary Sr. is one of the most underrated trainers there ever was. Same thing with Virgil Hunter. I just think that when you see great trainers, what they always do is they always bring another gear that a fighter usually doesn't have. But I say that because I don't know if you guys remember when Bad Chad got with Emmanuel Stewart. He looked so much improved. The Lennox Lewis that we know of is something that Emmanuel Stewart worked on and perfected. When he got his head kicked, his first fight went against, to get the rematch. He went in there, had a small touch. Then he got in there with what's that big black nigga that fought Tommy Guns? Sorry, not Tommy Guns, the Marvel. You know what I'm talking about? What's his name? The big black dude. You know what I'm talking about? The one that beat Tommy Morrison to death. You know what I'm talking about? Ron Mercer.
Ray Mercer.
Is it Ron Mercer? Ron Mercer?
Man, Ron Mercer played basketball. You talking about Ray Mercer?
Ray Mercer. Look at you. But what I'm saying is, I felt like that Emmanuel put his fighter in the right position to be ready. I mean, what would you say about that? Because you do this more than me. I'm a novice. I want to hear from you on that. What's going on with my man Red?
I mean, I think every coach has the intention to put their fighter in the best situation. I'll say this. Sometimes you have situations where the coach can only bring the fighter but so far, and then the fighter becomes stagnant. And then you have a lot of situations, and I won't give a individual coach and fighter, but where the fighter covers up the flaws of the coach. They make them look like they're world-class trainers, but when you really break it down, they're not.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm gonna tell you, we do not have 25 world-class coaches in boxing right now. We may only have about 7.
Mm.
We may only have about 7 world-class coaches. Then you have a tier down, which are good coaches. Then you have a tier down that are right situation coaches, meaning they got a hold of Michael Vick before anybody else got to get him. And he wasn't never a good coach because the 13 quarterbacks before him was garbage. But this one kid's talent could overshadow how horrible of a coach you have. And then you got the coaches who are just plain horrible and won't nobody go to them.
Yeah.
You know, coaching is just like they say, it's levels to this. It's the same with coaches as it is fighters. It's levels to this.
What you got up there, man? We kind of discussing Lamont Roach versus Isaac Cruz and just how I felt like Lamont Roach's coach let him down. What would you say?
Yeah, no. So first off, I want to say hi to everybody. I didn't even know you're doing a show tonight, BVO. Shout out to you, the Puerto Rican prince there. You call him, and Mr. Hackett. Always good to be on a panel with you. And thank you so much for your son's time. We can't. Me and Clay can't talk highly enough about him. You really raised a good young man there, and we're always rooting for you guys. So keep that going. Good luck to you guys on your travels. Lamont Roach versus again, man, I guess I'm the unpopular one because I when I was doing my live scoring BVO, I had Roach winning 8-4. That was what my scorecard was. Clay's scorecard was 7-5, right? And again, I guess there was just maybe because I was watching it in a super huge like movie screen or something, but I understand. I can make an argument as to some of those rounds were close swing rounds. I think that for me, I was giving the benefit of the doubt to Lamont that I understood what his game plan was. Like I understood what he was trying to do, and the fact that 2 judges called it even kind of tells you, that it is what it is. But for everybody else who's saying, oh man, Isaac Cruz killed him, like, what are you guys watching? Isaac Cruz didn't kill him. I mean, Isaac Cruz put up a competitive fight. I think Jaleel said it best. He went balls out early, but that was more Lamont Roach's gamble more than it was Isaac Cruz is so good. But from round 5 on, sure looked like Lamont Roach pretty much controlled him the rest of the way. So I agree. I just, again, and then the other thing too is you're going to hear a lot of different places, BVO, where they'll talk down on Lamont Roach, and I absolutely hate that. I absolutely hate it because all this guy did was win a 130-pound world championship and then decide to move up in weight to fight Tank Davis, who at the time everyone was proclaiming to be the best, or a lot of people were proclaiming to be the best at 135, in which Roach beat him. And then he moved up again to another weight class and fought a fight that I felt he won. I'm not the only one that felt he won. And then you guys are going to, people, not you guys, but people in general are going to tear him down. Why are you tearing down a fighter who is so good for boxing, right? Like Lamont Roach is a fan's type of fighter. I like him a lot. I like that he goes out there, he does his best. He's pushing himself for greatness. In all honesty, if I believe if Lamont Roach had like so much money that he can get, nutrition teams and the whole bit, he could probably, he would 100% dominate 130 pounds. And at 135, I'd love to see. I mean, I just saw Shockey Foster look that good. Let me see that, right? But again, we're in this weird space of promotions where I know for me, Mr. Hackett, I've been tired of it for a long time as to why one fighter can't fight another fighter, because they're in certain promotions, whatever. Thank you. When Zuffa Boxing comes along, that's going to fix a lot of these problems. I'll say that. People will get a chance to fight. People will get paid. Activity will happen. And I say that to BVO to say, I just saw Frank Martin come back after a long, long layoff. I would hate to see him be shelved for whatever promotional reason there is. I'd like to see Frank Martin come right back fight in January or February. These young fighters, they need activity, man. I'm done with this whole, this fight doesn't make sense. That fight doesn't make sense. Mr. Hackett, I wish all of them had Jalil's attitude. I'll fight whoever you put in front of me. I wish all of them were like this. So,
but one, you can't look at that with Jalil because one, Jalil's a Mexican. Mexicans fight everybody, so that's not really new to him. That's just how Mexican fighters are. They're gonna fight. They're looking to fight. Julio Chavez was old as hell fighting Oscar De La Hoya. Why? Because he loved to fight. We think. For me, I don't give fighters credit when they have a Mexican style and they want to fight it. That's just what Mexicans do. So that's why I say that. But for me, I just got to say, if you are a world-class guy, like Lamont Roach says he is, that's what he says, and you go in there and you look regular again, I mean, we can say what we want about Tank. That fight's over and done with. We seen that point deduction. I mean, we seen Lamont Roach about to hit his pockets, man. His legs are all over the place. I mean, Esau Cruz didn't fight the best fight, but he fought a decent fight, and I thought he fought enough to win. But it just goes to show you, boxing is still about if people like you or not. If people don't like you, you don't get the decision. I just don't understand that. I just think that's bad for boxing, and it's just, for me, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. What would you guys say to that? That it seems to still be if you like me game in boxing.
If you don't want it to matter, knock people out.
Well said. Well said.
What you got, Free?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta understand the fans is what pays for the fighters. If the fans ain't coming to see them, the promoters can't promote the fighter. So it is based off of if they like them, they're going to put them out there because the promoter got to put the money up, and the only way they're going to put money up is they see that they get a return in their investment. If they don't feel like they're getting a return on their investment, they're not willing to put no money behind you. So it is based off of popularity for the most part. That's why we always say we want these fighters and get on social media and do interviews and things like that and meet the fans because you want to put your name out there so these fans can buy into you. If these fans don't buy into you, your promoter ain't going to put no money behind you. That's the reason why. That's the reason why Ryan is so big without even being a champion.
That's well said, bro. That's why we want to fight Vinny Barbarino if he successfully becomes a 2-belt champion at 54. You know, we love to beat up on Menudo.
Oh man.
All the time. You're gonna have to answer for that, man. That was the word on the street. You're gonna have to answer for those words. But I'll say this. The thing that's so funny about it with boxing is Free always tells me this. We gotta stop picking and choosing. Well, this was a great example of people picking and choosing. Do you want to see great fights or do you want to see a popularity contest? Because if you think about it, Esau Cruz knocked him down. The crazy point deduction for whatever reason, it was so bad. We seen Esau Cruz spit his tongue out at this kid. We never seen Esau Cruz be like that. That's how pissed Esau was. He was like a little kid. All he could do was say "nana nana boo boo" almost. He was so pissed. But I get what y'all saying, but let me ask you guys this as we go on to the next thing. You guys think about Bud Crawford attacking the WC belt in ways that we never seen. We had the great Oscar De La Hoya come out and say, you know, who do you think you are? Why would you even speak ill on the belt that made us all great? What do you guys think about a great guy like Oscar De La Hoya being a critical of Bud Crawford?
Didn't Oscar De La Hoya say the exact same thing that Bud Crawford said years ago? And the exact same thing.
Not only that, Mr. Hackett, Oscar De La Hoya said it this year when he was on live with Shannon Sharp show when he was doing the Club Shay Shay, and we actually on Claymore's show earlier today we started that way. We showed the clip of Oscar talking this week attacking Bud, and then we showed the clip of him at Club Shay Shay saying the complete opposite thing, everything that Bud was saying, that Oscar was saying, and again, Bud isn't the first person to do this. I mean, Errol did it. Floyd's got a whole speech about what's wrong with boxing, and there's way too many belts, and why belts.
We never heard nobody threaten the commissioner like Bud did.
I think that if you re-watch Oscar De La Hoya with Club Shay Shay, he was very clear about the non-importance of these sanctioning bodies, and I don't want to misquote him, so you can watch it yourself, but I'll paraphrase. Oscar said he would rather go to the toy store and buy the belt because the only belt that matters is the Ring Magazine belt, which is free. That's literally what he said earlier this year. You guys can look it up on Club Shay Shay.
But look, Ray got the whole story. Bud came on there with a do-rag on, basically telling Mauricio, a 60-something-year-old man, slap yourself or all this. Like, I don't understand where the anger and all that came from.
Look, for me, and I don't know about you, Mr. Haggett, but for me, guys, I don't care the age or this or that. Bud is a grown-ass man. He's got every right to do whatever he wants. But the last time I checked, Mauricio attacked him first. Bud didn't even say anything. Mauricio is the one that decided to go on the cameras and say, he didn't even apologize and blah, say, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So what did you expect Terrence Crawford to do? Just sit there and say nothing? Of course, Terrence Crawford was going to
expect him to have class. He's supposed to be a champion. Why ain't you got no class?
Nah, BBO. Nah.
Muhammad wouldn't say nothing like this. Muhammad Ali would never say no crap like this.
Get out of here. Stop.
Ray Leonard wouldn't say that.
Now you're just capping, bro. You're just capping.
BBO, this is when other people get out of character, it's fine. But when we get out of character, why we ain't got no class? Why they ain't got no class?
Exactly.
Why we gotta be the one? Why we gotta be the one that's a school student? Why they can't go to school and have class? Why it's always gotta be us? Nobody says nothing about nobody else. Everybody else can get out of character and do whatever they want to do. Never they doing anything wrong. But when we do the exact same thing they do, why he ain't got no class? Why he can't be more humble? Why this? Why that? I mean, no.
I got an answer for you if you want it.
No, the point of the matter is an opportunist. He saw an opportunity to try to get on Mauricio Suleiman's good side, so he can get one of his fighters in position to get a belt. So that's all Oscar was doing. That's all he was doing. He was trying to get on Mauricio's good side so he can get his fighter in position to get a belt.
This kind of reminds me like of the Godfather scene where the old man was rushing out the room with all the guys and then they lit the place up. I feel like that's what Bud did. I feel like he just went in there for no reason, took the belt, took the prestige of having the green belt, and then he just tried to eliminate the whole board and try to, basically pull his pants down and try to poop on the board. I just don't see why he would do that. I mean, y'all can say I'm tapping, but that's okay. I'm just saying our classy great fighters wouldn't do that. Muhammad Ali wouldn't do that. You think Muhammad Ali didn't have grievances? Of course he did. Ray Leonard had grievances with the WC, but it never came out. But with Bud, we got to have this like Zeus Network moment where he got a do-rag on, telling a 6-year-old man to slap himself. Like, what are you talking about? Would you want somebody to talk to your father like that? I wouldn't let nobody talk to my father like that. That's crazy.
I mean, but where was you at when AJ threw the belts out the ring? The man lost the fight, threw the belts out the ring. Where were you at?
You remember I said he was horrible when he did that. He was horrible. I said he was horrible. We don't play that game. He was horrible for that.
We got fighters throwing belts out the ring. We got fighters throwing belts in the trash can. We got fighters saying we don't need the belts. We got fighters saying I'm not paying for those belts. No, when those belts are secondary to these fighters. Yes, they would love to have them if if they can fight for them and everything is on the up and up. But at the end of the day, the fighters love their money more than they love those belts. I keep telling y'all, I don't care if a belt is ever on the line. What was one of the biggest fights that we had in 2000? What was that? 2022, 2023? No, 2022. One of the biggest fights we had was Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. There was no belt on the line, and they did.
Well, WWE belt on that, the original belt. We had the original WWE belt.
There was no belt on the line because they fought at a catchweight at 136. There was no belt on the line.
Oh, okay.
There was no belt on the line, and they sold $1.2 million. I mean, 1.2 million pay-per-views, 100 million at the box office. So the belts are secondary when it comes to these fighters. They care about their money, and when you digging into their pockets, they like, hold up, I'm already being taxed by the government. I'm being taxed by my promoter. I'm being taxed by my trainer, my sparring partners. Now you want to come tax me? You don't even do nothing for me except for give me a belt that I can't even wear with my pants. I can only wear when I come to the
ring. You gotta talk to System Free, man. This dude's talking crazy, man. What you got for him, Coach?
I think he hit it on. I think he hit it on the point, man. I just think that, like I said before, belts are valuable on the come up, but when you become that small group of fighters, Canelo, Floyd, AJ, Fury, when you become those superstar level fighters, then you already eclipse the belts. You fighting you is the belt. If somebody said, I'm gonna pay you to fight Bud Crawford, or I'm gonna pay you to fight Jerron Ennis, which one you think gonna pay you more?
Oh, Bud Crawford.
All right, so it don't matter about the belt, because I didn't even say a belt was on the line. I just said which one gonna pay you more. You answered the question just like every logical thinking person. I didn't say nothing about a belt. I just said which one gonna pay you more. This is called prize fighting. So you fight for a prize. It's not called belt fighting, because then we would fight for a belt.
But we see that can almost not even be rival. Like, so to have a guy just come out of nowhere, a Johnny come lately, who's going to be known as one of the greatest fighters that ever lived, the really talk the way he talked. I mean, I thought Mauricio deserved an apology. You guys didn't think that?
Why deserve an apology? When two men have a conversation and they put their opinions out there, why am I apologizing for the way I feel?
Maybe I'm wrong. I thought the time was off.
What? Come on, man.
Yeah. You don't even be talking to people like that in business.
BVO, come on, man. Come on, man. We in the boxing business. We're probably in the worst business known to sports mankind. The boxing don't choose you. You choose boxing. And when you choose it, you got to take everything that come with it. Like I said, my son get a chance to be a champion. We paying that fee. But if my son making $50 million, we got to discuss how much we gonna cap it at. Because
Mhm.
if you're talking about it's uncapped and you just get 3%, BVO, you be cussing your own father out if he told you take 3% of $50 million just because he your dad.
He so broke. He so broke.
Hey, hold on, video. Did you say why didn't Bud? You said why didn't Bud apologize?
Yeah, yeah. You didn't hear his tone?
No, you talking about a guy that fight for a living. He doesn't go into the ring and be apologetic for what he did. So why do you think that that's going to be in his demeanor to apologize for something that he say or something that he do? That's not what's in his nature. His nature is to go out there and fight, whether it's with words or it's his fists. His nature is to go fight. He's not going to apologize for what he said. He's never apologized for what he said. He said his dad. He even said some stuff about his own fans. He didn't apologize for that. What makes you think you want to apologize for Mauricio? The
Mm.
actual people that put money in his pocket.
And if you want somebody to apologize, have these fighters apologize that's ducking fights. Have these fighters apologize that get in the ring like Turkey Al Sheik said and play Tom and Jerry. Because they getting paid their full check to play Tom and Jerry. Come on, man. Had these guys apologize who want to be considered four kings and they never even fought each other, disrespecting. You want to talk about disrespect? That disrespects Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Roberto Duran to the utmost, who had to fight to be considered four kings. So there's a lot of disrespect to go around.
Hey, one thing I will say, salute to my brothers, man. I see y'all picking and choosing, and that's okay. That's okay. I mean, I love Bud. But I get why y'all saying that and why y'all doing that. I just think it's just hard, man. It's just hard because the green belt has been good for us in boxing.
You already know.
But
I ain't no Bud fan, so you already know. I'm not picking and choosing anything. I ain't no Bud fan, but I'm calling it straight down the middle. He ain't said nothing that none of us have already said many times before. They need to get rid of these belts because there's too many of them for one, and for second of all, they don't even hold true to their own rules. So why should
Now, they can't get rid of all the belts. They just got to give other options. Like, I think TKO and Zephyr will provide other options. But boxing, the soap opera of boxing needs all those belts. It'll be boring if we give all them belts.
how can Zephyr and them do what they want with the Ring Magazine belt? Because that's the lineal belt. So if I'm not in your program, I can't fight for the belt that John L. Sullivan wore, the belt that Muhammad Ali wore, the belt Joe Louis wore. That's crazy.
BVO, what makes you think that I mean, unless you have some information that we don't know, Nick Khan already spoke about this. What makes you think that the Zuffa boxing champion won't be ranked? They'll be ranked and recognized by Ring Magazine, which is why it's the fastest way.
No, I'm saying a guy who's not a part of Zuffa is what I'm saying. If you're not a part of Zuffa,
no, if you're not a part of so here, they made it very clear. Nothing's changing with the Muhammad Ali Act. They're doing an extension for it once it passes, the Senate, Congress, however it works. Then they're going to go ahead and make an announcement. But the way it works now, going into 2026 for boxing, is clear. If you would like to continue to do the way you're accustomed to doing business as a professional boxer, great, no problem. If you would like to try Zuffa Boxing's way of doing it, and you'd like to do the extension, come on in. And that's it. Like, there's no that it's just literally like in college football, if they opened up, another ACC or an SEC, they just opened up another league. That's all it is. You could go to IBF
I got you.
Because it's happening now, right? Like, oh, we're not going to go the WBC way because it's faster for us to go the IBF route. Oh, we're not going to do the WBA way because we'd rather fight the people at the WBO. All that's happening right now, which is all just whack, right? I mean, like, it's the funniest thing to me, guys, is if you look at the ring rankings at 154, the number one guy doesn't have a world title. So Ring Magazine and their writers believe that the number one guy, the guy that's the best in the division, the guy that's fought the hardest people, is not even the guy holding a belt. So make that make sense. Make that make sense, right? Now, for me, it makes sense in the if you are into believing what the writers program is. It's like us when we look at college football. If the Associated Press is telling us that Alabama deserves to be in the playoffs, even though they lost 3 times, are we? I mean, is anyone really arguing it? Like, first of all, if Alabama,
let me say this real quick before you finish, man.
Well, our writers don't know shit about boxing, so.
But you know what I mean, right? Like it won't matter. What's that? No. I'm talking about the associate. Yeah. I heard it. I know. I was talking about like how the Associated Press is basically telling all of the viewership of college football who the teams are or the committee or whoever that's going to get to make it to the playoffs. Now, for me, you can do individual arguments, right? Oh, I think we're like we're in the Mountain West, okay? The and the Mountain West team that beat UNLV, it's Boise State. Boise State doesn't even get to play in the regular playoffs. They're playing the Washington Huskies in the LA Bowl, right? So that's like saying, cool, man, you get to go ahead and go compete for whatever the IBO. Like it doesn't matter. But for the national championship, there's I think it's Alabama, right, Mr. Hackett? They lost 3 times, right? They've lost 3. I think they lost 3.
That's true.
Right. But
they're the only ones that lost 3 times that's in the playoffs.
Right. Right. Exactly. Strength of schedule. You nailed it on the head. So Virgil Ortiz, all you got to do is look at it. Did Virgil Ortiz have the hardest fight so far at 154? If the answer with all those writers who are telling us who number 1 is yes, then he's number 1. Boom, done. It doesn't matter. Like people who believe Fundura should be number 1, it's like great. That's a great argument. Awesome. At the end of the day, man, if Fundura really wants to be number 1, why don't you tell him to go tell the PBC to make sure that they do a contract for Virgil Ortiz? Oh, they're not going to do that? Then you could STFU then. Like it doesn't matter anymore, right?
You cold-blooded, man.
I mean, I'm just saying, like I think that's what's going to change.
This is a sick Negro.
I think that in 2026, there is only one company that has a TV media rights deal. That's TKO Holdings. And TKO Holdings is giving all combat sports for 100% free on Paramount Plus and CBS. So if you're a boxer and you want to continue playing these little, I got to go play across the street games, or I got to be with that group, and you want to do that, and then if you're Frank Martin, it's taking you over a year to fight, you could do that. That's your prerogative. But fighters who want activity within a 5-month period, who want to get a consistent paycheck, who want to get insurance while they're on training camp, who want to get help with nutritionists and strength and conditioning coaches and all of that, well, there's this other thing that you could sign, the Muhammad Ali extension, in where you could be with Zuffa Boxing. Oh, and by the way, you get to fight on American television, which will also be shown on a global network. It's up to you, though. It's up to you, boxer, with only 11 fights or 10 fights or 9 fights. Totally up to you. Would you rather sign with PBC and wonder when your next fight is? Or would you like to sign with us and know for a fact you're going to get, at the very minimum, 2 fights this year? You see what I'm trying to say? It's pretty simple, man.
And they're not eliminating the ability to have great fights. You could actually say that, I'll use my example. Jaleel has a better path to a Xander Zayas fight through the Zuffa process than going through the process that's currently in position now. Just reality. Everybody's chasing the one belt that makes sense, and that's the ring belt. And if the person who has the ring belt is the person who's actually putting the biggest and best fights on and putting the biggest and best fight. If you take Turkey Al-Sheikh out of boxing over the last 3 years, we would have never got any of these great fights we get ever. Those guys would have retired, and we would have said, this has been the generation of what if.
Right.
So, for a fighter like Jaleel, all he has to do is perform. And if the Turk says, I want to see Jaleel Hackett and Xander Zayas, it could be for belts, it could be for a TKO, it could be for one of the current belts, or it could just be for more money than either one of them can turn down. And both of them say if they got belts, vacate them. I think that's what we've seen Bivol do. He went for the big check, and I don't blame him.
The Ring magazine. I know what he was going with it, because I see with Turkey, this dude Turkey that just like made the Ring magazine matter again. It's like he made it the Bible of boxing. I don't know how he did it, but it's crazy, because I remember for all the time, my man Oscar did nothing with it. What you guys think about that? Yeah, who? This is my brother Dank.
With it, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, we see more publicity for Ring magazine in a long time. I mean, every time you turn around, you see a Ring magazine put something out there. Oscar didn't do anything. He was just holding on, saying he was the owner of it. I mean, but he didn't do anything with it. Literally, didn't do nothing with it.
Nothing.
Not to speak up for Oscar, not to speak up for Oscar, but he wasn't going to do nothing with it when all the best fighters were fighting for PBC or Top Rank. What, he going to keep giving awards away to his competition? He bought the Ring magazine to further the interests of Golden Boy. Golden Boy didn't have nobody that could further that interest. So why would I give anything away if it's only me giving free commercial space to the other fighters that fight for other promoters, and it does nothing for my guys? Come on, they still got to make business sense now.
What would you say, Rand? What would you say about that? The Oscars? You think you fumbled the bag with the Ring magazine? Because I forgot, until Turkey came around, it's like the Ring magazine means something again, like a lot of little kids. It's crazy.
Look, man, Oscar got bailed out when Turkey gave him a bunch of money to get the Ring magazine. The Ring magazine is the legitimate magazine that regular, casual sports fans will again recognize, like how they used to recognize it, as the main news when it comes to boxing. So if we want to attack, if we start to feel like Ring magazine's going to do funny stuff, we'll be open to attacking them. As far as I could see, I don't really see any favoritisms. I mean, you could argue things here and there, but when I look at the Ring rankings, I can make little debates here and there, but for the most part, when I look at a top 10 of Ring, I'm like, yeah, those are all good fighters. It's not like, hey, there's all these really amazing teams that all deserve to be here, except that one guy who, for whatever reason, he's terrible. I don't know why he's, you know what I mean? Like, all of them are good. So that's why it creates competition, which is really what it should be about anyway. It should be about competition. I don't care if you've lost, 3 or 4 times. All I care about is if you're one of the best fighters and one of the more exciting fighters for us to want to watch, then the people should know about you. My problem with the old way is you would literally get hidden because of fear or agenda or whatever. The only agenda Turkey Al-Sheikh wants is what the prince wants. And what the prince wants is for the Saudi name to be rebranded to be a good thing and not a bad thing. So you see Riyadh season everywhere. You see it on every sporting event. You're seeing Hollywood get involved. And what'll be crazy is you're about to see it on American TV, man. That'll be the craziest thing to me, is to watch the first CBS event on free TV and be like, oh, look at that. It says Riyadh season. That'll be awesome. But my whole point is, at least now you got a young man like, let's say, like Jaleel. He's only 22. If he wants to continue for the next 10 years, he actually has a good career path now. He won't have to play this dumb game of I don't know where to go because this promotional group is blocking me out. There is no more blocking out. He can, just like Marvin Hagler, man. I'm gonna let my fists do the talking. I'll figure out when people like me, when people figure out that I'm the best. And to this day, we still talk about Marvin Hagler, and people forget that Marvin Hagler was being exactly. Yeah, but to this day, man, we still talk about Marvin Hagler. And he didn't have the same path as Sugar Ray, and it still didn't matter. So
let me this last week from got it. What do you guys think about Nigel Benn making the Hall of Fame? I thought that was kind of a reach. What do you guys think about that?
No, I don't see a problem with him being a Hall of Famer. I think at the time that he was doing what he did it to a level that people remember. People remember who he was. They remember the style of his career. I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, he's a legend of the sport. He's a legend of the sport, BVO. He's a legend of the sport, and if we're gonna do nationalism about it, he knocked out Iran Barkley. So what else do we have to say? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't he deserve being in the Hall of Fame? The guy beat Gerald McClellan. You know what I mean? Right? Like, why would we not have him go into the Hall of Fame? Like, what would the exact reason? Tank doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, and he'll probably get in it. And we're gonna cry about Nigel Benn.
See, I can't say that because he did technically win 2 divisions, man. He won 130, 135. So I would say every time you're a 2 division champion, I think you're a Hall of Famer to me. As hard as boxing is, I think we had eight original weight classes. Now we're up to 16. If you can become a multi-division champion, I think you should be in the Hall of Fame. I really do. Like, I think it's a travesty. But what's my dude that beat Bernard for the title? Was it Julian Jackson? I can't believe he's not in the Hall of Fame. I mean,
right? There's plenty of people that are not on the Hall of Fame. I agree with you. That should be on the Hall of Fame. Just like for me as a Raider fan, there's plenty of our players that aren't on the Hall of Fame, and we sit there and go, I don't know what's wrong with you guys. This must be a political thing because those guys should totally be in the Hall of Fame. But if we're talking about, again, specifically, if the question is, how do we feel about Nigel Benn going into the Hall of Fame? Nigel Benn was the WBO 160-pound champion, and then he was the WBC 168-pound champion. He was 2-division champ. He beat all, great names that we know of. He's an icon to an entire nation outside of the U.S. and even in the U.S. We talk about his tenacity and his grit and the way he fought. He totally deserves. Like I said, man, totally deserves to be in the Hall of Fame way more than Tank.
I can see him being in there.
You gotta look at the era that Nigel Benn fought in, and then you gotta realize this is a world sport. It's not a United States sport. So Nigel Benn, at that time that he was fighting, one of the best guys from overseas. He's one of the best guys from overseas, and then he dominated a lot of his opponents. And he didn't have a weak resume. His resume was pretty good. So when you look at that, there's definitely an argument for Nigel Benn. Like, my problem, I don't have a problem with Nigel Benn. My problem that I have is when we, and this is one of the reasons why I say these belts don't matter, because everybody say, oh, the belts matter, the belts is to get recognition, the belts do this, this, and that. Well, when you got two undisputed fighters who have not made it to the Hall of Fame, it says, okay, how much does the belt really do matter? How much does undisputed really matter? Because you got two undisputed guys that never made it to the Hall of Fame. Beat Bernard Hopkins to become undisputed and then defended it against Bernard Hopkins to stay undisputed. Then you had another guy who became undisputed, and these was two of the first guys when the four belt era came around that got undisputed. So it's like, how can y'all say that the belts have this much leverage when you got undisputed fighters that's not even in the Hall of Fame that got decent resumes compared to a lot of guys that's in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I'm gonna tell you my only thing about that, and I think trust me, I think every guy who is undisputed, I think you did something that's rare air, should be in the Hall of Fame. But I think sometimes there are people who may get snubbed and made to wait because they didn't put the belts together. I think whenever you become undisputed by beating an undisputed, people kind of look at that differently than a guy who went and collected all four belts with 3 or 4 fights. I think that's the only thing. Even though I think everybody who makes it to the undisputed point should be there. Devin should definitely be there. When it comes to Tank, I think Tank should be there for his fighting in the ring, but what he's also done iconically to the sport. I think Jake Paul should be in the Hall of Fame, and I'll tell you why. Jake Paul has done something that should have been done a long time ago, and he put women's boxing in the light that it belongs in. And we're talking about all these great promoters never did it, and it took Jake Paul to come in. We've gotten more great fights in women's boxing from Jake Paul than we got between the big five all put together.
Yeah. I would just say this, and this will be my last question for everybody. Do you guys think Antonio Tarver belongs in the Hall of Fame? I almost fell out my chair when I seen that. Because I feel like all he ever did was beat one.
He beat the king. He beat the king. I got to give it to him. Tarver annihilated the king. And I'm a Roy Jones guy. Tarver annihilated the king when he was still at kingly status. That's why I put him in there.
I'm right there with you, BBO. Because if you put Antonio Tarver, then you gotta put James Buster Douglas in the Hall of Fame. Because he beat Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson was at the top of the game, and then he got. I mean, you pretty much never heard of James Buster Douglas after that. Same thing with Antonio Tarver. Antonio Tarver beat Roy Jones, and that's pretty much the highlight of his career. So I understand why BBO is like that, because I'm the same way when it comes to Antonio Tarver. I'm like, okay, you got your name off of Roy Jones, but you never really did anything after that.
I agree with you, brother. I agree with you. I don't agree with BBO because he already got Emilio Vargas in the Hall of Fame. So I don't agree with him.
That's funny. That is funny. I think for sure that that Antonio. I mean, again, man, everybody needs to calm down. And when somebody gets into Hall of Fame, just look at their entire career as a whole. You know, people are forgetting that Antonio Tarver was one of the few people that won a medal in the Olympics. He was a bronze medalist, right? And then, yeah, he did win, in 2 series of his career. He beat Montel Griffin at one point to become a unified WBC IBF, I think at the time, light heavyweight champion. And then he lost to Roy, and then he knocked out Roy. Okay, and then he lost to Glenn Johnson, but then he beat Glenn Johnson, and people forget that when he beat Glenn Johnson, that was for the Ring magazine belt, and then he defended it against Roy Jones and beat Roy. So he beat Roy twice. So if you put Roy in the Hall of Fame, you got to put Antonio Tarver in the Hall of Fame. Like, that's ridiculous. Now you're just picking who you like and who you don't at that point. But if we're just gonna go off of stats and facts, it would be terrible.
In the Hall of Fame, man, because he used to kick Sugar Shane's ass. So we put Vernon Forrest in the Hall of Fame, man.
That is because I think there's a lot of other guys who should be in the Hall of Fame before Antonio Tarver, and these guys are still not there.
Right. Now, and again, that's like my argument with the Raiders. I agree with you. That's like my argument with the Raiders. But I don't fault all the other people making it to the NFL Hall of Fame by me saying, oh, well, I think, this Raider should be on before that guy. It's just like, you know what? It is what it is. We don't care. We know that all these Raider players are great. And just because you guys don't want to recognize them doesn't mean we don't recognize them. It is the same thing. Like, sure, man, people can hate Antonio Tarver.
Well, our Riders don't know shit about boxing. So
you gotta look at their entire career. And based off of what you said, he only beat 3 guys.
Yeah.
He only beat 3 out of his entire career. Only 3 guys.
Okay, if you take away the name of the people, what Antonio Tarver did is in 3 separate occasions of his life, won the world championships 3 times. 3 separate times he won it. He also defended it, arguably against one of the greatest fighters of all time, right? And beat that person. And he also, I mean, if you want to even count the IBO, he did eventually move up to cruiserweight and do that too. So really, if we're gonna get technical, if we want to get technical, he actually won another world title.
I'm glad you said that, because he did the exact same thing that Jermaine Taylor did, except for the only thing that Jermaine Taylor did that he didn't do is Jermaine Taylor became undisputed.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jermaine Taylor
should
actually be in
that should be in there. That's why I said when you say Antonio Tarver made it to the Hall of Fame, I'm like, nah, he shouldn't be there, because there's other guys that's supposed to be there.
No, and I understand that argument, right? But I'm trying to explain to you that just like as a Raider fan, I'm not going to pull someone. That's a crab mentality, man. I'm not going to take someone out of the Hall of Fame because one of the people that I think should be on the Hall of Fame should be there. I believe Jermaine Taylor should be in the Hall of Fame too, but that has nothing to do with Antonio Tarver.
No, because you got to pull somebody out, because there's a certain amount of people that can go in every year. So if there's a certain amount of people, that means somebody's going to get left out. So that's why you got to pull them out.
Well, like I said, man, there's people like Mr. Hackett who believes Tank Davis deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and I don't believe he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Not right. If he retires right now, I don't believe Tank Davis should be on the Hall of Fame.
No,
if he does something.
I mean, you gotta look at what Tank did in his career. He was a 5-time champion, and Tank Davis is probably one of the biggest pay-per-view stars of this generation.
Okay.
So he broken box office records.
Okay.
By putting on fight. With that's what you call somebody that is a Hall of Famer. They doing things that nobody else has done.
Really? Is that what you call a Hall of Famer? So what Jermaine Taylor did, being undisputed, isn't a Hall of Fame worthy? It is, right? So I could be, just like you're saying to me, I could go, no, I don't think Tank should be in there because Jermaine isn't in there. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You can say that, but what Jermaine didn't do is become a 5-time champion. He did not sell out. He did not break box office records. He didn't do that. The only thing that he did that Tank Davis didn't do is become undisputed.
Oh, is that the only thing? You know,
No,
is
see,
that the
he
only
didn't. No, but what I said was he did everything that Antonio Tarver did and become undisputed. Jermaine Taylor did. I mean, Jermaine Taylor didn't do everything that Tank did and become undisputed. Jermaine Taylor
Look,
did everything that Antonio Tarver did and became undisputed.
look,
That's the
look,
difference.
man, look. I'll respect to everybody's opinion, but you're never gonna convince me until Tank Davis does something else that Tank
He
deserves to
never
be in the Hall of
unified. So I
Fame.
can see why you say that because he never did unify. You can hold that against you for sure. He never
Yep.
unified. That's
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yep.
he lost his bet on the scale.
You know what? In fact, I would have put Tank Davis on with the accomplishments he currently has. I would have put Tank Davis on the Hall of Fame if he'd have fought some really good fighters like he was supposed to fight, even if he lost. Because Jermaine Taylor lost to Carl Froch. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Like if Tank would do that, I'd be like,
Carl
yeah, man.
Froch lost to Andre Ward. He didn't care. He lost to Andre Ward.
Exactly.
I understand that, but at the same, like we all already know, Tank Davis wasn't making his. Those were fights that were being made for him by Floyd and Leonard Allaby.
Well, too bad. If Jermaine Taylor's not in the Hall of Fame, I could make the same argument as to why I don't want Tank in the Hall of Fame. Then.
I love
I never said that. I never said I didn't want Antonio Tarver in the Hall of Fame. I said he shouldn't be in it over a guy like Jermaine Taylor.
And I believe Tank can be on the Hall of Fame over a guy like Jermaine Taylor. It's the same thing, man. It's the same thing.
Who said Tank is going to get in there before Jermaine Taylor?
I don't know. I know how crazy things are, though. You're the one talking about popularity and this and that. And these people doing it, man, they're diabolical. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
On that note, man, I appreciate everybody coming through, man. Thank you to everybody for the support. We almost at 6,200 subscribers, man. Thank you guys so much for the support for the channel, man. We're gonna keep growing and we're gonna take it one day at a time, man. So one thing for sure, man, tune in tomorrow. Me, Puerto Rican Free, maybe my brother Rez may stop by, but we got another special guest. You don't want to miss him. You guys know I love him. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.